Hey everyone, Tyler here. Welcome back to another one of my international hiking adventures. In June of 2024, I set off on an 8-day guided trek along one of the most beautiful trails in the world, the Huayhuash Trek in the Andes of Peru. In this video, I will share with you all of the stunning scenery and tell you everything you need to know about this challenging hike. A trek in the Cordillera Huayhuash can range from 4 to 12 days depending on the route and distance you choose. Many people opt for an 8-day trek of about 80 miles. As far as treks are concerned, the Huayhuash is considered challenging due to altitude and rugged terrain. If you choose to accept this challenge, you will be rewarded with stunning mountain landscapes, glacial lakes, and high altitude passes. You may even come across wildlife that includes condors, llamas, alpacas, and even the elusive Andean deer. Most adventures to the Huayhuash begin in the city of Huaraz. Huaraz is often described as the Switzerland of Peru due to the beauty of the mountain ranges that surround it. Most travelers get to Huaraz via the 9-hour bus ride from Peru's capital, Lima. I recommend taking the overnight bus with Cruz del Sur. Their buses are very comfortable, and I was able to sleep the whole way there. When you arrive in Huaraz, give yourself a few days to acclimate to the 10,000-foot elevation of this high-altitude city. This will also give you a chance to do some warm-up hikes and last-minute shopping for any essentials you may have forgotten. My friend Locke joined me for a warm-up hike to Laguna 69. This was a pretty challenging day hike that reaffirmed how difficult it can be to hike at altitude. Laguna 69 reaches an altitude of 15,092 feet. I also did a one-day mountaineering hike to the top of Nevado Mateo at 16,900 feet. This was my first time using climbing gear like ropes, crampons, and an ice axe. It was a great adventure, and I know that I'll be doing more. While you're in Huaraz, you can also book the Huayhuash Trek. There are many companies that offer such tours. Be sure to shop around and find one that meets your needs. I was very happy with the price and service offered from Krusty Travel. Moreover, they had a group that was leaving in 2 days, and this fit my schedule perfectly. And so it was an early start that Saturday morning with a 4 a.m. pickup at my hostel. As we picked up the others, I learned that I would have an excellent group of nice people from all over the world joining me on this adventure. After almost 5 hours of driving, we arrived in the small village of 𝐂𝐓𝐇. Here we had a nice breakfast while our guides loaded up the van with the gear we would need. Eight miles further, and we were at the start of the hike in 𝐬𝐻𝐻 Huayhuash. Here, the gear was transferred to the donkeys, and we got a briefing from our lead guide, Rosma. For each day, I'll be sharing the elevation profile of the day, which gives you an idea of the amount of time we spent hiking, the distance we covered, and the elevations that we achieved. If you hike the Huayhuash in a clockwise fashion, as most do, you will have an easier time acclimating to the increasingly high mountain passes. The first pass we encountered was Punta 𝐾𝐿 at an elevation of 15,300 feet. From there, we descended towards our camp for the night. One thing I learned is that all of the land in the Cordillera Huayhuash is private land. Each village community along the way charges a small fee for crossing their land and spending the night there. If you're traveling solo, you can expect to pay around $60 US in total. Residents usually visit the campsites in the evening to collect the fee. Of course, if you're with a group, these fees are likely covered in the price that you pay up front. After setting up camp, we gathered for our afternoon happy hour, which consisted of hot tea and popcorn. Some of us then set off on a short hike to Laguna Mitucocha. The lake was beautiful, and I found it especially interesting to watch the local fishermen in action. One would startle the fish with his pole and send them downstream to his partner, who was waiting with a net. When we got back to camp, I had a little chat with a local dog named 𝐻𝐿. Little did I know that 𝐻𝐿 would be joining us for all 8 days of our Huayhuash Trek. Then it was time for dinner. Every night we started the meal with a hot soup. On this night it was followed by a delicious fried trout. Each day started with a wake-up call between 5:30 and 6 a.m. Breakfast usually consisted of eggs, pancakes, or yogurt and cereal. Hot tea or coffee to warm and wake us, along with coca leaves to remedy the effects of the altitude. Day 2 was one of the easier days of hiking, though the views really started to get dramatic. Each campsite that we stayed at had some kind of amazing view, but the views along Laguna Huayhuash were perhaps the best. Here you can see Peru's second highest mountain, 𝐿𝐴𝐴, towering at 21,770 feet. Packed, fed, and caffeinated, by day 3 the routine was set and once again we pushed on in the Cordillera Huayhuash. But what does Cordillera Huayhuash translate to? Cordillera is from Old Spanish cordilla, meaning cord or little rope, and is used to distinguish a system of mountain ranges in parallel chains. Cordilleras are an extensive feature in the Americas and Eurasia. Huayhuash has Quechua origins and is believed to come from the term 𝐻𝐻𝐿, meaning weasel, or 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝑖, meaning squirrel. The Huayhuash Range is 19 miles north to south and includes 3 peaks over 20,000 feet and another 23 peaks that are over 18,000 feet. On several of the long hiking days where we would be arriving to camp well past lunch hour, our chef Elvis would meet us on the route with lunch. A proper meal definitely hit the spot and gave us the energy to finish the hike to camp. Now, the water was definitely ice cold here, but it was a welcome relief to my tired feet.
Yeah, covers. That looks good. How are they baking this? Un minuto.
There was definitely some cold mornings on the Huayhuash hike, and if the frost in our tents was any indication, this was one of them. We hiked about 4 hours to our first pass over 5,000 meters, which is about 16,400 feet. Although we were conditioned and acclimated from the prior 3 days, this was definitely a challenge for some in our group. As we continued on and over the pass, we were greeted by a Mars-like landscape. The yellow, orange, and reds in the rocks offered such a contrast to the lakes that glowed in different shades of teal. Truly picturesque.
Dat is nog zo high. En mijn head also.
I mean, it's chips and rice.
And rice, and you can also make everything as
Once again, a frosty morning. I was really glad I had brought my warmer sleeping bag for this trip. Oh, and my gloves. Luckily I packed those last minute. Up to our highest pass of the hike at 5,100 meters. That's 16,730 feet. When we are finally standing at the top of the pass, we can't help but be amazed. The panorama is simply incredible. In front of us, the glaciated mountains of the Cordillera Huayhuash rise into the sky. From there, the rest of the day is all downhill, starting with a section of scree that you can try to ski down if you're so inclined. The descent down 𝐂𝐍𝐇 Valley is easy but lengthy. Once again, Elvis met us on the trail, this time with a beet salad that was really tasty. Gracias. We continued following the river's edge until we arrived to the small town of 𝐻𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐄𝐒. 𝐻𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐄𝐒 is the only place along the Huayhuash hike where you will find amenities like internet and electricity. If you're hiking the Huayhuash on your own, this is the only place that you can resupply to get you through the remainder of the trek. Keep in mind though, your options here are definitely limited. We're in 𝐻𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐒. Camping in 𝐻𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐒 is done on the town's soccer field. There are also showers here that you can use for a small fee. We haven't seen him all day, and here he is. He arrived to join us. Now, if you do need to charge some things or use the internet, you can head down the street to a hostel called Sol de Yerupaja. They also sell food items in their small market. They do charge to use their internet and electricity. You can also pay to use their shower. I needed all of these things, and it was actually cheaper to get a bed there, which included all of the above. So that's what I ended up doing. That shower after 5 days of hiking was glorious. After getting my batteries charging, I went back to join my group for dinner, and then we were welcomed by the locals to watch a performance by the children. Sadly, day 6 of our trip began with a smaller group. Rachel and Pasco ended their hike in 𝐻𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐒. But this was planned all along. They were on a shorter time schedule and left 𝐻𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐒 that morning on public transport en route to Lima for the next chapter of their South America adventure. The 6th stage is a long, strenuous climb, almost 4,200 feet of elevation gain. Following a rushing stream, we gain more and more altitude. We pass by shepherds' huts and pastures and enjoy fantastic views of the mountains. After several hours, we finally stand at Paso Tapush. We hike a bit further to 𝐻𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐒 field where we make camp for the night.
Más espacio.
As if our legs weren't tired enough after 6 days of hiking, we made the losers of the card games do squats. Great idea, right?
13, 14, and 6.
6.5. Well done. 7. Finally some proper score.
I didn't see what else. I think they had chicken.
Yeah, sorry. Waiting for example.
Yep, camping at 14,100 feet. It can get a little cold. Where were you all night?
You think it's
Vas a ser muy famoso.
Puedes ganar mucho dinero después.
Sí, sí,
En
sí.
YouTube. Wow. Oh, that's good. That looks. That's a good idea.
All right, it is day 8 of 8, our last day on the Huayhuash Trek. We just finished breakfast, getting everything packed up, and we'll have about a 4 to 5 hour hike down the valley to 𝐷𝐷𝐃𝐄. From there, we'll have lunch and begin the 5-hour drive back to Juarez. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. I think I had a bit of mixed emotions on day 8. Part of me was ready to get back to civilization and get a proper hot shower. The other part of me knew that I'd likely never visit this part of the world again. It was an amazing 8 days, surrounded by incredible landscapes and great people. I'll forever treasure the memories I made on this hike. Cordillera Huayhuash 2024. A special thanks to Yvonne at Krusty Travel and everyone who made this trip so great. Rossmel, Sebastian, Colin, Michaela, Benjamin, Johannes, Marlene, and of course our great chef Elvis, along with Rachel and Pasco, who we left in Jayapa, and let's not forget Kuto. He really made this trip special. Yeah.
Good job, man.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Put on.
Dale.